Welcome to our chain Lightning Vision. Today Mother will be talking about the environment in part 2 for her answer about how can we save our planet. And in part 1, Mother talked about the fact that we are a whole. So we are not really conscious about it, but we are all part of a whole. So Mother, would you please continue on your answer about the environment?
I'll try to. I explained that in spite of the enormous amount of knowledge humankind has gained the last 200, 300 or 400 years, something that shows itself profoundly in the scientific field, manhood has become quite a broad knowledge about the functioning of many natural factors on Earth. But that is apparently not the main question, not the most important point. Because if that would be the most important factor in our life, we would have been able to solve the environmental problems. The question today is, how is it possible that with all that we know nowadays in the scientific field, with all this knowledge, with all this understanding of the Earth, how it functions, how it works, the rhythms, the cycles, all the atoms and the tiniest pieces of matter, how they work, how they behave. How is it possible that with all this knowledge we cannot solve this problem? I think it's the first phenomena you can discover behind the environmental problems. The first phenomena is we need this humility to accept that something does not work, in spite of everything we know, because otherwise we would have solved it already. I think it's that humility, which some have and perhaps many not already. I think one of the reasons of those environmental problems is to bring humanity to this humility again. Because if you look back in the past, as I already said in the first part of this emission, man was more humble in the past, accepted there was an intelligence that was above him, a creator or whatever, however you want to call it. Man accepted that he was part of a whole that was functioning on this earth with him, whether it be the minerals, the vegetables, the plants, the animals. Man himself has had for a long time, through history, a kind of natural devotion or respect towards what was surrounding him. Now, with his knowledge, he started to master the elements. The rain is less a problem. We have all kinds of canalizations. We have solutions for earthquakes. We have solutions in our way, up to a certain extent, of course, for water, for wind. But we still have to admit that when earthquakes become very big, we're lost. When water arrives in very big amounts, it's a problem that we cannot solve immediately. When the wind becomes very strong, we're also lost. So, and don't even talk. Let's not even talk about fire. That is still a problem to control it. So I would say, basically, what we are lacking is this vision, this intelligence, this consciousness, that in spite of everything we know with our intellect, there is still a power that goes above us, and that is working in the first place in nature. Now, what we as humans are doing on nature, on the other hand, is putting nature in our service, abusing of her always to obtain always more. We are trying to harvest more and more with the minimum of input, having the maximum of output. This is a way we make the earth a slave of our desires, of our search for money, wealth and power. Until now, the earth, to a certain extent, has accepted that. because we have parts of this earth have become very rich and very powerful and live like kings, imagining to control everything. But this is, as I already said, not true. It's not because until now certain parts of this world has stayed untouched by natural catastrophes. That doesn't exist. There are many countries that still live them until very recently, or that go on living them, whereas other countries are until now out of out of this problem. But that might come also. We see it at this moment in Australia, where the fire is a huge problem, where the heat is coming up. That are factors that humanity cannot control. I think the environmental problems show us in the first place that we have become too arrogant in our scientific knowledge, that we lack humility towards forces or towards intelligences that go above ours, divine intelligence, or even intelligence in the earth itself, in the physical reality, in nature. And that it's time that we accept this truth, that the only way to survive is to come back to a kind of collaboration in a harmonious way with nature, and through nature, I would say, with God, for those who can accept that. And to see that it's not by trying to rule, to dominate something on earth, that you can really control it. We do not control the situation, and somehow we know it. But this same intelligence that has created this earth and us, and that's what my profound conviction is, and I have not seen in my life many reasons to change this vision, because everything is always proving this, if I'm honest. This intelligence has given us time to discover this truth. The reason I think things still go on in spite of all the difficulties, because if we are honest, there are many difficulties. And I think that if there was not a kind of power that transcends man, if that power would not have been there to repair things in nature that always cleans up the mess, that always repairs, heals, tries to find a way out in spite of all our errors, all our anti-natural behavior. Well, this power, this divine power in nature, has given us time to discover that we better participate in a harmonious way. But I think this time is running up, is becoming... I think we have less time. Each day we will have less time to discover this before things will really get rough. As I said in the first emission, perhaps we cannot act on the level of the whole of humanity immediately, because there are many human beings that are too far away from the facts. But we should act in an individual way. Because whatever will happen with the earth, and I absolutely am sure that the environmental problems will not stop if even a minority in humanity will not take the facts and react. In spite of that, life will go on. And we need a minority of people that can go on at a certain moment, even if many things go wrong. because that's what you can also learn from cultures that have disappeared. Cultures have disappeared for over the ages. That's a truth in spiritual science, even if for many people this might be quite far away. But you will see that the earth is still there. Human life is still on earth. That means that something has always gone on in spite of everything. And I think that part will stay. We will go on in some way or another, but perhaps not all of us. And that's why I say it's you who decide if your place might still be there at a certain moment when it will get rough. Because if you have to make a new start at a certain moment, you need to go on with persons that understand the meaning of this new start, this new beginning, that know what it is about and that know what we should do in a different way, better, and that we have not done before. So I'm profoundly convinced that the earth will not be the problem. Environmental problems are not a problem for this earth. She has always known how to deal with those phenomena in one way or another, and she's showing it. She has been showing it for the last 50, 60 years, in spite of all the errors that we have made with our chemicals, with nuclear energy, with petrol, with the oil that was running in the seas. The earth, if you give her time, she can clean up everything. But the problem is man. That's to say, is your place still here? Because if you cannot understand the necessity for change of vision, for change of behavior, then it might be that your place is not here anymore. For the moment at least.
Wow, thank you, Mother. So this was part 2 of Mother's answer on if we can save our planet or ourselves. So thank you for listening, and please don't forget to subscribe to not miss the part 3 of Mother's answer. So we'll see you soon.
Amène-moi un jour au-delà de ces nuages. Amène-moi un jour en rêve. Amène-moi un jour au-dessus de toutes les vagues. Amène-moi un jour, pourrais-je toute la vie la traverser?